Well, everyone, I wanted to break down a little bit of my experience of pretty much not handling my iPhones in the best way and kind of explaining to you what kind of happens if you treat your iPhone, maybe not in the best, possible conditions. Now, first of all, the basic things like not putting a case, not putting a screen protector on your specific device. I've been accustomed to pretty much putting cases and screen protectors on all my devices since I've had them. But even in that case, if you look at something like my iPhone 13 that I've been talking about quite a bit, you can see there are tons of scratches and tons of not cracks, but kind of indents on the display and even a little bit on the back, but nothing crazy. If you're not careful with your iPhone 13, especially the newer series, but even on the older series, things like the 12s, 11s, the 10s, you will start to see that the iPhone will scratch up like crazy. And this isn't really a good look for this specific iPhone, because if you're trying to resell it or you plan on reselling it in the future, even if you're not planning on reselling it, you may actually end up reselling it whether you realize it or not. Or you may repurpose it for something, and if it has a bunch of cracks and if it has a bunch of scratches, it's not going to be in the best condition. So again, I would probably recommend putting a screen protector and a case on it if you want to, but the screen protector is like number one in my opinion. You can see for my 13, it's not in good condition and pretty much everyone knocks me on it for it, but there's something about these 13 series that definitely scratch up a little bit more than the previous generation. Now, another thing that I would probably recommend you to kind of be wary of are installing betas on your iPhone. This is something I've talked about for a long period of time, and honestly, whenever I installed a beta on really any of my iPhones, I installed them on pretty much every iPhone that I've ever had, and they always experience issues. The only iPhone I don't even touch a beta on is my personal device, and even though I review them and there's so many cool features here and there, I would never recommend installing an iOS beta on any device for a multitude of different reasons. One, if you're actually using, an iPhone 13 Pro, for example, or the latest iPhone, and you have, an older watch or an older, iPad or whatever, sometimes your devices may not be able to communicate with the newer ones on that software. So sometimes you may have to update all the devices surrounding your Apple. So sometimes you may have to update your devices surrounding your iPhone as well. And that can be kind of an annoying thing. You have to update your Apple Watch, you have to update this, that. It's kind of an annoying thing, let alone all the bugs associated with the beta. I have bricked so many different devices I've had by installing betas, random boot loops, random crashes, random things like that, and that's why I never install a beta on my personal device. I don't even install the latest version of iOS until a couple days or weeks later, to be honest either. So that is the number one thing. I know with iOS 15.4 right now, it's looking like it's a really cool thing with the no mask Face ID and stuff, but still it makes absolutely no sense to install that right now. Now, another big thing that some people kind of forget about is actually not only with the battery degradation, but with the battery shutdowns as well. Sometimes if you're in really cold conditions or really hot conditions, this can have a massive effect on your battery life and battery health as well. And I've personally been in situations where maybe I was in a super hot condition or a super cold condition, and my iPhone, my iPhone, I think 11 Pro I had, and an iPhone 10 I had, and maybe even with my 12 Pro, it would just randomly shut off, and you would never think, I would never think the latest iPhone at that point would shut off. I'm accustomed to older iPhones doing that. But if you have the latest iPhone, a lot of these weather conditions can have a humongous effect on your device as well. So it doesn't really make too much sense, if you have control over it. I wouldn't, purposely put your iPhone in super hot conditions. I wouldn't put it in super cold conditions. And that is a really important thing you can do to pretty much, lengthen the time of how healthy your iPhone is overall. Now, things like wireless charging and different things like that, that can also have effect on battery health. Not dunking your phone in water, different things like that. I mean, that stuff is pretty basic, but those are a couple of things, in my experience, that if you're not careful with your iPhone, some really weird things could happen to it. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.